I'll call to order the meeting of Monday, January the 23rd, and if the clerk would please take the roll.
Councilmember Archibald.
Here.
Councilmember Cole.
Here.
Councilmember Harris.
Here.
Councilmember Lewandowski.
Here.
Councilmember Moeller.
Here.
Councilmember Ruiz.
Here.
Mayor Rupp.
Here. We have the minutes from the regular meeting of January 9th before you. Is there a motion to receive and file them?
So moved.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Cole, is there any additions or deletions? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes will be as submitted. We have one presentation. The clerk would please read it.
Proclamation recognizing a season for nonviolence will be presented to Lynn Shabat and Sandy Gwintant, co-coordinators for Blue Water Season for Nonviolence.
Good evening.
Put this aside for a minute. I'll read you the proclamation and give you a moment to make comments.
All right, thanks.
Whereas every person can move the world in the direction of peace through their daily nonviolent choices and actions, and whereas an awareness of nonviolent principles and practices is a powerful way to heal, transform, and empower our lives and communities, and whereas January 30th and April 4th commemorate the memorial anniversaries of Mahatma Gandhi and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and whereas an opening ceremony will take place at the Upper Level Acoustic Cafe at 1227 10th Avenue in Port Huron from 7 to 8 p.m. on Monday, January 30th. Now, therefore, I, Pauline M. Rep., by the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Port Huron, and on behalf of council members Archibald, Cole, Harris, Lewandowski, Moeller, and Ruiz, do hereby proclaim January 30th through April 4th, 2012, to be a season for nonviolence in the city of Port Huron, and urge all our citizens to participate in local educational and community action campaigns and to honor those who are using nonviolence to build communities that respect the dignity and worth of every human being during the season for nonviolence and throughout the year.
Thank you
and
very
congratulations.
much. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Rep and City Council. The Gandhi King season for nonviolence will begin and culminate with observances at the United Nations in New York City and in hundreds of cities and other locales around the world.
During the period between January 30th and April 4th, groups throughout Port Huron and St. Clair County will sponsor projects and programs to create greater awareness of the principles and practices of nonviolence, including nonviolent communication workshops, anger management classes, films, artistic and cultural events, essay contests, and special activities for children.
We in Port Huron have a great opportunity to focus the hearts and minds of our citizens on the principles and practice of nonviolence that was so vividly demonstrated by the actions of Mahatma Gandhi and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Thank you again.
Thank you. We have one public hearing this evening. If the clerk would please read it.
Number one is to hear comments on the general needs in community development, housing, and special services utilizing CDBG and home funds for the fiscal year beginning April 1st, 2012.
Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to address the council on public hearing number one? Seeing no one, I declare public hearing number one closed. Now is public comment time. Anyone in the audience who wishes to address the City Council either on agenda items or non-agenda items, if they please come to the podium, give us their name, and you have 4 minutes.
I only want to speak about McMorran. We have so many things going on at McMorran this weekend. I would like the public to try to participate in something. We have a hockey game. That's Saturday night. We have a comedy show going on. That's Friday and Saturday, I believe. And we have Silver Sticks, and it's just a shame to go into the arena during Silver Sticks and see 12 people in the entire audience. This town really needs to be ashamed of themselves. They beg constantly to save McMorran. It's the pride of our city. Well, it's the pride of the city, but where are the idiots supposed to be when they should be in the seats of the pride of our city? I hope they show up for something this weekend. They got 4 choices.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the City Council?
My name is Kirk Kramer. I am Vice President for Administrative Services at St. Clair County Community College. With me tonight in the audience, in case you have any questions, is College President Dr. Kevin Pollack and College Trustee Mr. Tansky. I come tonight to thank you for your consideration of the vacation of a portion of McMorran and River Street within the college campus. We have worked with Mr. Brown, Mr. Clegg, Ms. Harmer, and Chief Ike and their offices to prepare the material for your consideration, and we appreciate the work of staff to provide the best information for you to deliberate. In fact, the college and city have a long history of working together for constituents and improving downtown. One item we want to make sure you are aware of is that the college has funding in place to complete the project. The college is ready to move forward, if you approve, to begin bidding and prepare for construction as soon as the winter semester concludes. The street vacation request is to support a college project to invest in downtown on our campus, to improve safety for students and staff, to increase the walking opportunities toward downtown, and to implement a project that will complement surrounding downtown area plans. Thank you for your consideration as we continue to work together.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to address the City Council this evening?
Good evening, Donna Clune. I wasn't planning to make any comments, but I would like some definition concerning resolution number 7, indicating that the City of Port Huron does not agree to participate or to continue participating in drinking water monitoring. That really concerns me. I think fresh water, clean water, and pure water is important. So if someone could clarify that, I'd appreciate it.
We will at the time that it comes up. Thank you, Donna. Is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to address the City Council this evening?
David Ellingwood from Port Huron, Michigan. I just want to make a comment. I think that's a good idea to turn more areas like around the college, and by vacating those streets, I think that it would open opportunities for people that are disabled and be that much less cars that they get entangled up with. And I think it's a good idea, even though I don't go to the college itself. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to address the City Council this evening? Declare public comment closed. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Before I ask for a motion, it's been brought to my attention that items 14 through 18 really all need to be kind of grouped in one, because one does not go without the other one. So I'm going to request that 16 and 17 have be taken off the consent agenda. And is there anyone else? And a motion?
Mayor Rep?
Yes, Councilmember Moeller.
Resolution 13.
13 off also?
Thank you.
Okay. And is there a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilmember Moeller. Is there a second?
Support.
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, and we will take the vote.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Cole? Yes. Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Lewandowski?
Yes.
Councilmember Moeller?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Mayor Rapp?
Yes. On the consent agenda, appointed the 2012 Board of Review members, which consists of Gary Stolt, Gary Westrick, and Jeff Wine, with compensation in the amount of $600 per year per member, and setting the Board of Review meeting dates. Approve the 2012 through 16 Parks and Recreation Plan. Authorize the payment of $21,808.44 to the Michigan Department of Environmental Quality for the annual biosolids land application fee. Confirmed and declared single lot special assessments in the amount of $130 for the emergency boarding up of 2915 Moak Street. Schedule a public hearing for February 13th to hear comments on a proposed increase in rental certification annual operating fees. And that would be it. So at this point, we will move on to resolutions. And the first one is to appoint 4 members to the McMorran Civic Center Authority. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed from the city manager, all the way down there at the bottom. Okay, Go
Number
right
one
ahead.
is a recommendation that the bid of Northgate Ford in the amount of $62,641 for the purchase of a 2012 dump truck with salter and front plow blade for the Parks and Forestry and Cemetery Departments be accepted.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilmember Harris. Is there a second?
Support.
Councilmember Lewandowski. Is there discussion? We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Cole? Yes. Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Lewandowski?
Yes.
Councilmember Moeller?
No.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Now we'll move on to resolutions. First one is to appoint 4 members to the McMorran, and this is going to be a little different than we normally do. Everyone that has in front of them, we had 11 people who applied to be on McMorran board. Each council member has a slip of paper that lists those 11 people. And if you could indicate, because we're going to appoint 4 members, if you could indicate the 4 of your choice and pass it down to the city clerk, she will then tally it up and let us know. And then if we have a clear cut and we don't have to vote more than once, then we can have a motion to appoint those 4 people. Okay, I guess we're going to have a revote here.
Well, just on those 2.
Yeah, we have 2 clear-cut people who are going to be appointed or put in the names, and that's Jack Bellier and Kathy Duffy, and then there are 3 additional people, Robert Epley, Mark Neal, and Carl Schoenberg, and we need to appoint 2 of those 3 people. So the clerk is passing out another. The 3 that we need to vote, 2 of these 3 is Bob Epley, Mark Neal, and Carl Schoenberg.
So we just choose.
Choose 2 of the 3. And you need to put your name on the bottom of the vote. These will be public, in the public record, so. Oh, no.
Oh, you got down
I thought this was
3.
going to be easier this time.
So now he has gotten it. So now we gotta go on those 2.
Robert Epley is the 3rd member of the, to be put in the resolution, and we have now one more vote, and that would be between Mark Neal and Carl Schoenberg.
Yes.
Okay, it's Mark.
Okay. Be Mark Neal. Now, if the clerk would please read the resolution, then inserting those names, and then if we would have a motion. Yes.
Okay, it would be appointing Jack Bellier, Kathy Duffy, Robert Epley, and Mark Neal to the McMorran Civic Center Authority with terms to expire June 30th, 2013.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilmember Lewandowski. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Ruiz. Is there discussion?
Mayor Rep,
Yes, Councilmember
you know,
Harris.
over the years, the Port Huron Town Hall Series has contributed a lot to McMorran, and they're probably one of the most successful events in McMorran, and I think it'd be due if we would also invite them to participate, you know, a special invitation, because I think we have a good board there, but I think they should be involved.
Well, I certainly think that that's a board, when the McMorran board should ask them to come to the table, but they would not be a voting member, but yes. Yep. Any other discussion? We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Lewandowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Moeller.
No.
Councilmember Ruiz.
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald.
Yes.
Councilmember Cole.
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Resolution number 2.
Is approving the contract with City Manager Bruce C. Brown.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Councilmember Lewandowski. Do we have a second?
Second.
Councilmember Ruiz. Do we have discussion? We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Lewandowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Moeller.
No.
Councilmember Ruiz.
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald.
Yes.
Councilmember Cole.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
No.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. We'll move on to resolution number 5.
Is approving the third amendment to the contract with Waste Management of Michigan Incorporated to provide solid waste recycling services through June 30th, 2013.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Archibald. Is there a second?
Support.
Councilmember Cole. Is there discussion? I assume then we're going to, I'm looking for Bob. He's always sitting there and he's not sitting there. You, if I could ask a question. Sure. Thanks. You get used to people in certain places and you weren't there. So we're amending this for a year, but during that time, you're going to be working on bid documents, correct? For the
Mayor Rep and council members, we are very interested in accumulating as much data as possible so that when we go out for bid, we have very good data for the bidders. And we would like the opportunity to gather some more data. We think that with losses in revenues that we're going to have some very difficult decisions to make as that next contract is put together, because it'll be a multi-year contract. And so we want to have the best data possible to get the best bids possible. So that's exactly what we'll be doing. We'll be working to gather more data and try some other new things to see if we can control cost as much as possible.
during this next year, are you going to, it was talked about at the last meeting that you might be offering the larger recycling containers. Is that going to happen?
Yes, one of the options that Waste Management has offered is they would administer an opportunity for our residents to rent from them directly a larger recycling container. It's a rolling container. And with the number of people who have come and asked for additional bins as we went to the every other week recycling, we're hopeful that with the showing of that some people would be interested, and then we could judge whether that those types of containers would result in additional recycling occurring in the city and reducing our landfill fees. So that's one option. The other one is we're looking at the leaf collection program, making some changes to that as far as schedule, and see if we can reduce the cost and maybe provide a better service, both.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else who has a question?
Rep?
Yes.
Just want to say thank you for that, although not super exciting, Bob, it's just good information you gave us in that, that last report. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Mayor.
Oh, Councilmember Lewandowski.
Bob, is the recycling or the LEAP program going to change this year with the, you going to try new things, or is it going to be for the next time?
If council approves the extension this evening, it would be our intent that this coming fall, we would begin 2 weeks later and run for 6 weeks, rather than what we do now, which is begin 2 weeks earlier and have 7 scheduled weeks. Our goal is that every area would be serviced every other week. And we're hopeful that if, we're trying to eliminate the fact that some areas have a lot of weeks between service and trying to get that more equal amongst every area in the city. But we don't know how effective that is until we do it once. And our hope is that it provides a high level of service to our customers, and that hopefully what we'll see is a lower cost. We don't know that, and that's why we got to try this to see if it works.
And so Waste Management would assume the risk of any price increase on that?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Councilmember Harris.
Can we assume that maybe at the end of 6 months period that we'll get some kind of evaluation of what works and what don't work?
Yeah, absolutely. My expectation, Councilmember, is that sometime probably in December of next year, we'll hopefully be coming forward with a report on what we learned and probably speaking to council about the alternatives we're going to put together in our next bid package. It is my expectation, because of our revenue issues, is that we're going to bid this out with alternatives for service. And then once we get those bids back and fully evaluate them, then we would come to council and say, here's what we have to work with for finances, and here's what services we could provide for that, and here's the different combinations, and there'll be that type of thing. We'll come, of course, with a recommendation, but the city council will be able to look at all of it and be able to make decisions about service levels and so on.
Any other questions or discussion? Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Moeller.
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz.
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald.
Yes.
Councilmember Cole.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Lewandowski.
Yes.
Mayor Rupp.
Yes. Resolution 7.
Is authorizing city officials to sign a statement of intention indicating that the city of Port Huron does not agree to participate or continue participating in the drinking water monitoring system from December 5th, 2011 through December 2nd, 2012.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Councilmember Harris, is there a second?
Second?
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald. And I guess, if you could explain this, please, for us, Mr. Clegg.
Mayor Rep and council members, the city of Port Huron was proud and worked hard to assist with the development of the water monitoring program. The city of Port Huron is located at the northern reaches of the St. Clair River. Many of the communities that have risk are primarily those downstream of the Chemical Valley and other areas. Our level of risk is lower because we're upstream of those type of discharges. We have always monitored our water and will continue to monitor our water to assure that we have peak safety. When this program was originally put together, the concept was to take federal grant dollars and 2 counties placing $50,000 each into the kitty to operate a system. What is occurring now is the grant dollars have dried up, and the 2 counties, or at least one of the counties, has announced that they intend to remove themselves from the process completely. So they're going to withdraw their $50,000 of support and put it all on the drinking water systems. There are 14 plants that are impacted, water treatment plants that are impacted with these monitors and have the real-time monitoring. Of those plants, 5 have already indicated they no longer will participate. And those 5 include 2 plants serving the Detroit drinking water system, New Baltimore, Algonac, and East China. Each of these communities downstream of Chemical Valley. There are 7 that said they would continue, and one of the 7 that said that they would continue have added a $3.62 quarterly fee to the water bill so they could continue with the program. We are convinced that we can continue to provide safe drinking water in our community at a lower cost. We are always in contact with our downstream neighbors, and our water treatment plant professionals regularly meet with those individuals downstream. They go to regular meetings, training meetings, and other meetings to keep good communication lines open. We feel that a telephone is an excellent way to communicate with each other, and do not feel that we need to have high overhead websites and other types of systems to communicate. We do not see any added value. We were happy to participate before. We were paying $5,000 a year that City Council has kindly authorized within our budget. This year alone, that's going to more than double. And depending on how many people stay in and what the costs of the future are, which we cannot control, we see the cost escalating. And we believe that we can work with our neighbors, we can provide safe drinking water for us without having that high overhead of paying consultants to do a bunch of things. So our concern at this juncture our recommendation at this juncture would be to back out. We think that's fair to the other communities. If we linger for another year and they don't know the City of Port Huron's position, then it's difficult for them to calculate what it's going to cost them to remain in. So the primary reason is we do not see enough cost benefit. At $5,000 a year, there was lots of cost benefit. But at higher cost per year, unpredictable cost per year, we don't see that benefit there. And again, we will continue to work with our neighbors downstream and provide information if we spot anything at our intakes.
Any questions? Councilmember Lewandowski.
When we did the tour of the water plant, they said that if they pulled out of that, they would have to remove that equipment and give it back. Would we have to purchase some new equipment to put in there?
We would like to buy a real-time pH monitor. We have not found that the other monitors have really provided us any additional information of value compared to our regular testing that we do. We have a laboratory there and we regularly test our water at the intakes. The pH meter did kick once in the 5 years since it was installed, but we feel that there are monitoring equipment that would be less expensive and less expensive to maintain that would provide a same level of protection as that would provide now, and the other ones have never keyed, and we are not really seeing the value in those other ones that we see in that particular monitor, real-time monitor. And once again, we'll keep in good contact with our downstream neighbors. We don't want them to miss any information that we know.
And what did we use before we had this monitoring system?
We did not have anything. We used our regular the regular testing that we do and that we've continued to do even when the monitors were there.
Thank you.
Any other, yes, Councilmember Harris?
I was just kind of wondering, annually during the summertime, we have a lot of times positions where the beaches are closed, and predominantly they're north of us. And I just wonder if that sets any alarms when we have that problem.
No, it hasn't. The good news is that as we've tested our waters, we have not seen anything outside of safe drinking water parameters. We regularly, of course, we provide a kill for any microorganisms, and we're filtering. Certainly our finished water, as we all get our drinking water reports, all those parameters are well below any safety hazard parameters, and we have a very high quality of water coming through the system.
Any other questions? Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Cole?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Lewandowski?
Yes.
Councilmember Moeller?
Yes.
Mayor Rep?
Yes. Resolution number 10.
It was requested by Councilmember Moeller and is withdrawing funding for the Economic Development Alliance due to its lack of support for local and county businesses.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Councilmember Moeller, is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Harris. Discussion.
Mayor,
Yes, Councilmember Muller.
I just bring this to the attention of the City Council because of what was done. Let me say, first of all, the EDA, I think, has made some major improvements and continues to do that. But I'm elected to represent the businesses and constituents of the City of Port Huron, even though I'm a community member and support the local businesses countywide. But when the EDA sends a letter to one of our local businesses stating, I appreciate your comments regarding the databases that were recently launched by the EDA. I understand the importance of supporting local businesses, and I want to assure you that the EDA purchases nearly all of its goods and services from St. Clair County companies. If these databases were merely websites, then we would have developed them in-house. But they require specialized program capability, and I prefer to work with a company that I knew could deliver. Lastly, the EDA is not a public agency, and like any other privately held business, retains the right to acquire goods and services in whatever manner best serves its membership. You know, the EDA can say what they want, that they're a private entity. They take $64,000 a year from the citizens of Port Huron, plus another $200,000 from the county residents, which again are members of the city of Port Huron. It seems to me that the EDA is improving, but I think we need to pull our funding to wake them up and so they really get our attention. And that's why I bring this forward tonight. And so.
Any other discussion?
Mayor Rep.
Yes, Councilmember
I want to
Harris.
reiterate some of the things that Mr. Moeller stated. You know, when it was brought to my attention as a new person with the websites and stuff, learning all the good and bad of it, there was several comments from many of the citizens about the lack of bids for the job and then not even have a chance. And I've heard different comments, well, you should have known. But I don't think that's a requirement when somebody spends $30,000 outside the city of Port Huron or St. Clair County. I think they have a responsibility to at least make the bid process and let the citizens decide what they want.
Any other discussion?
Mayor Rep.
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem Archibald.
I can't agree more with Councilmember Harris that they have a responsibility to do the bid process. However, I think it's a little hasty to revoke funding immediately if we sit here and say that we think they're improving. I think they have a value in our community, and I think what we really need to do is sit down and make it very clear to them our expectations for that funding and get them to adhere to that. If they're not willing to do so, then I would support this at a later time.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Mayor, could I respond?
If there's no one else, you have to wait first and
Okay,
see if there's
yeah.
anybody else that wants to respond. No, go ahead.
You know, it's like a lot of things. It's like a drunk driver. You know, there's zero tolerance for drunk driving anymore, and I don't think we should have zero tolerance for this type of business. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Mayor Rep.
Councilmember Moeller.
Just one thing I forgot to mention is the website was not that, I'm not a web designer, so I don't know. But on the people that I talked to and local businesses and local web designers and to local business people, this was nothing spectacular that couldn't have been done in-house. I think this is more of just a quid pro quo. I'm from Oakland County and I'm going to hire the buddy. And in fact, in the letter that he wrote to our local businessman, I'm going to hire somebody I know and happens to be in his hometown in Oakland County. So I think we have to send a message to him.
Any other discussion? We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Archibald?
No.
Councilmember Cole? No. Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Lewandowski?
No.
Councilmember Moeller?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
No.
Mayor Rep.
No. Resolution number 11.
Mayor Rep,
Yes.
I request that this be removed from the agenda.
11 is removed.
I request that.
Well, you put it on, so you can request and we can remove.
Thank you.
Number 12.
Number 12 is directing the city manager to order a solicitation for additional officers and adjust such budget items to allow this process to begin no later than January 24th, 2012, and this resolution was requested by Councilmember Harris.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Councilmember Harris, is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Moeller, is there discussion?
Mayor Rep.
Councilmember Harris.
You know, in our initial meeting, which was supposed to be goals and objectives, we listened to a lengthy presentation, and when the presentation was over, I accepted the fact that I thought that they wanted to move in that direction that same evening. I know we've had some difficulties come up, and basically my proposal is to get some resumes in here. There's a lot of people out there that have the experience and could help us. This doesn't do anything more than let us start the process of hiring somebody.
Councilmember Cole.
I've had an opportunity to speak with some local residents and other people in the area, as well as the chief. My concern with this is I don't know how to begin soliciting for positions that haven't been created or defined yet. So that's my concern. I guess I feel like it's putting the cart ahead of the horse to solicit applications for something we don't have a job description for yet.
Thank you. Any other discussion? I guess I would just say that it does, in fact, it's more than just solicitation for officers. It does say to adjust such budget items to allow this process, which really doesn't say dollar figure wise or anything. And I do believe that, and I may be wrong, but I think the chief is already soliciting for candidates or about to solicit as far as an opening you have. Am I correct? There you go. Thank you.
Mayor, Council, that's correct. Just this week, we've worked out with HR on a new process for testing of candidates so that we can, our old list had expired, and we found another list, another way to save the city some money using a different testing agency. Our applications have been posted to the website today that we'll be accepting applications and starting that process forward. I've completed my meetings with the sheriff and the prosecutor, and I'm preparing a report to give to the city manager. I believe I'm pretty close to having the original proposal. I'm waiting for a couple things back in regards to equipment, but we're pretty close. But we're moving along in the process.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion?
Yes. Mayor,
Councilmember Harris.
then basically what the chief just told us, there's no reason to vote no. Thank you.
Well, I think that this also asks to adjust, and there's no adjust budget items, but it doesn't have a dollar figure on it. So it's really not a clear resolution, other than soliciting for officers, and that's part of it. We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Cole?
No.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Lewandowski?
No.
Councilmember Moeller?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
No.
Councilmember Archibald?
No.
Mayor Rep?
No. Resolution number 13.
Is adopting a revised schedule of fees effective February 1st, 2012 for various sections of the Code of Ordinances and other user-specified fees.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilmember Lewandowski. Is there a second?
Support.
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald. Is there discussion? We'll take
Mayor,
Councilmember Moeller.
I'm simply voting no because this council seems to only know how to raise fees and water rates and so on and so forth, and I don't think that's what we should be doing in this time and in this economic conditions, so I'll be voting no.
Any other discussion?
Mayor Rep, I think the
Councilmember
only
Harris.
thing, the problem that I have with this is it cost negative. Do we plan on recouping these monies to basically pay for the services, to provide taxes, for, provide licenses for these contractors that are going to haul away garbage and that are going to transport people in their cabs?
Who wants to answer the question?
Right now, the current fees are in the one section where it says current fees, and those will stay in place if this does get voted down. The reason for some of the increases is the fact that we have background checks that we have to do, and we now are required to pay the $10 fee, and we found that it's time that we start raising a few of these to recoup our coverages. More importantly, though, the police chief in his department does do the taxi cab licensing and the trash trucks, and it takes a great deal of time in order to inspect them and to look them over and to get the paperwork in to make everything sure that everything is in place. So they are trying to just make it a little bit more fair for, this does not, I can tell you, I don't believe it completely covers all of their costs with the inspections. They do a thorough investigation of the vehicles that are driven, of those two in particular.
Does that answer your question, Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Thank you. Any other discussion? We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Lewandowski?
Yes.
Councilmember Moeller?
No.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Cole?
Yes.
Mayor Rep?
Yes. If I understand, then we probably want to group together, if that's acceptable to council, resolutions 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18.
Mayor Rep,
Councilmember Moeller.
based on legal counsel, I'll be abstaining from the rest of the legal advice. I'll be abstaining from the rest of the agenda. Thank you.
You're welcome. Do we have a, well, yeah, I do believe that's true. In the rules, I do believe it says for a reason why. Is it a conflict of interest or?
It's conflict of interest based on legal advice of the city council.
Okay.
I'm an employee of the college.
Usually you have to note it in the minutes. Do we have a motion for resolutions 14 through 18?
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Lewandowski, a second by Councilmember Harris. And then if the clerk would read all of those, and I think you have one change in number 18 too that you'd like to note.
Correct. Resolution number 14 is vacating the street right-of-way on that portion of McMorran Boulevard bordered by Erie Street and River Street. Resolution 15 is vacating that portion of River Street between McMorran Boulevard and Willow Street with the reservation of a full-width public utility easement. 16 is decertifying that portion of McMorran Boulevard between River Street and Erie Street with the reservation of a full-width public utility easement. Number 17 is decertifying a portion of River Street between McMorran Boulevard and vacating Willow Street. Number 18 is authorizing city officials to enter into a development agreement between St. Clair County Community College and the City of Port Huron regarding development of the proposed portions of McMorran Boulevard and River Street. And in the agreement for number 18 on page 2, under Article 1, number 4, that item was not supposed to be in the final agreement, and both sides have agreed that that section, or that number should have come out, and it reads, prior to the college's completion of construction, construct and complete the cul-de-sac.
So that just changes the numbers too, so we
Yes.
have 1 through 5 now instead of
Yes.
1 through 6 under that. Okay, and we already have the motion and the second. Is there discussion on this?
Mayor.
Councilmember Harris.
I'd just like to comment. I talked with Mr. Adair prior to this, who's on the county board, or the community college board, and I've talked to Mr. Kramer, who helped out with the McMorran Authority and stuff in the last things. I wholeheartedly support this project. I think it's going to be nothing but a plus to this area. I'm just looking forward to seeing it come to light, and I think it's a good plus for the city of Port Huron.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Councilmember Lewandowski.
I guess a question for Bruce. I know there was some legal issues with the Riverwalk area there with the house. Is that all taken care of, or we're good to go on that now? With the legal, swap things around. With the legal issue, you said there was some kind of legal issue with property that would transfer back to...
Yes, there's an issue that we're opening discussions with SC4 on. Basically goes back to the days of urban renewal. In 1968, there was an agreement that gave the college the right of first refusal on any development on the waterfront from 7th Street to 10th Street. We don't think that's a good policy, and we're going to have some discussions and see if we can find a happy medium that will...
So the discussions haven't taken place yet?
Plus.
We haven't had those discussions yet with them?
We've met twice with them.
We haven't got it ironed out yet?
No.
It doesn't, if I'm not mistaken, it hasn't really any bearing
No,
on
it doesn't have
this.
any bearing on this. It's just, as we were going through this, we stumbled onto this 1968 agreement, and I wanted you to be aware of that.
Yeah.
So that you weren't surprised in the future when that came back up.
I hate to give away our only bargaining chip in.
That thought crossed my mind.
All right.
Any other discussion? We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Lewandowski.
No.
Councilmember Moeller is abstaining. Councilmember Ruiz.
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald.
Yes.
Councilmember Cole.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. That concludes our agenda. There will be a special meeting of the City Council next Monday, January 30th, in room 408. It's going to start with a closed session at 6:30 p.m., and then we'll open following probably approximately a little after 7 to discuss the upcoming 2012-13 budget. Is there anything else to come before council? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Meeting adjourned.
I gotta have